Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Mississippi, USA. Six former Mississippi cops to be sentenced for torturing a black man. Greetings, and salutations to all nations. Ladies and gentlemen, you know it's Rastafari Soldier, your favorite Jamaica. If it's your first time tuning in to the Rastafari channel, hit that red subscribe button. Become a part of the Rastaman panel. Jackson, Mississippi, USA. Hunter Elward, a former Mississippi Sheriff deputy who faced the most serious of federal charges against him and 5 other officers in the torture of a black man last year, was sentenced to 20 years in prison in a highly emotional hearing Tuesday. Elward pleaded guilty in August to federal charges of discharge of firearm during his crime of violence, conspiracy against rights, depravity of a right under color of law, and the conspiracy to obstruct justice and obstruct of justice related to a January 2023 incident. The former officer was also ordered to pay $79,500 in restitution to the victim. Details of the January 24, 2023 incident of Braxton, just southeast of Jackson, eventually came to light after the victim, Michael Jenkins, and Eddie Parkers fled the filed a federal civil rights lawsuit in June. Wow. They alleged that the officer illegally entered their home and handcuffed, kicked, waterboarded, and tased them, and attempted to sexual assault them over nearly 2 hours before one of the deputies put a gun in Jenkins' mouth and shot him. Many of the claims were later borne out by federal prosecutor in August as the 6 former Mississippi officer pled guilty to a combined 13 felony in connection with the torture and abuse of the 2 men. Elward also pled guilty in August to state charge of conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice, home invasion, aggravated assault. He awaits sentencing on the state charges. Unbelievable. Some of the officers called themselves the Goon Squad because their willingness to use excessive force and not report it, federal prosecutors said. The courtroom was packed with the victim's family, loved ones, and supporters, as well as civil rights activists. Elward, who was shackled with chain around his waist and wrist, was visibly emotional during the proceeding and nervously shaking his leg, and federal prosecutor recounted what the 2 victims endured that night. Moments before the judge imposed the sentence, Elward stood at the podium alongside his attorney and said if he could go back in time, he would go back to 7 years ago, to the first time I saw this behavior. I'm not a man of excuse. I fought hard with myself even since that night. A lot of people are only mad that they get caught. I have to live every night with what I've seen and what I've done, Edward said. At that point, he asked the judge if he could address the victims directly and then turned to make eye contact with both men. At that moment, Jenkins stopped chewing his gum and glared at Edward, which made the disgraced former cop break eye contact and pause his testimony. First of 6 Mississippi ex-cop sentenced. Ladies and gentlemen, this is unbelievable. Edward's voice was shaken and he was wiping away tears as he addressed Jenkins, who is still learning how to speak again after the shot. Mr. Jenkins, I see you every day and every night. I'm so doggone sorry. Elward said, I don't want to get too personal with you, Michael. He told him, there's no telling what you have seen. I'm so sorry that I caused that. I hate myself for it. I hate that I give you that. I accept all responsibility. Jenkins nodded. Parker stood up and replied, we can forgive you, man. Edward was taken aback by Parker's forgiveness as if he couldn't believe it. Following Edward's testimony, his lawyer told the court his client was not a hateful and mean person before he became an officer, but the egregious conduct he and his co-defendant committed was condemned and guarded until it became to a new norm. In other words, it became institutionalized. Edward was sentenced in Jackson before Southern District of Mississippi U.S. District Court Judge Tom Lee Malik Shabazz, led attorney for Jenkins and Parker, read aloud their victims' impact statement, citing their battle with the lifelong trauma. Parker said that the action by the 6 former officers severely impacted me and left a scar on me that will last forever. I don't know if I will be able to even sleep at night. I fear I will be attacked again and even killed, Parker's statement said as it was read by Shabazz. The humiliation and embarrassment from the sexual assault is too great for me to talk about. Therefore, I am in therapy now that in the future I may. Shabazz also read a statement from Jenkins who said, I don't think I've ever been or be the person I was again. I never thought a night hanging out with friends would almost cost me my life. Jenkins' statement said, I'm hurt, I'm broken, I'm ashamed and embarrassed by the entire situation. They tried to take my manhood from me. They did some unimaginable things to me, and the effect of this will forever linger in my life. Jenkins' mother, Mary Jenkins, also gave a victim impact statement and addressed the judge directly. I want the same consideration for these people as they gave my son when they put the gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger, she said. Although my skin is black, that doesn't make me any less of a woman or any less of a mother. Edward parents, Edward Elward, and Terry Elward also took the stand to testify before the judge. Wow. Imposed their son's sentence. Nothing prepared a person for this. Edward Elward said, what happened suddenly happened. There are many more victims that the people in this room. Hunter is going to take and own what he did. I hope there is some mercy along the way so he can get back to his family, get back his 3 sons. The former officer mother was in tears as her voice was quivering as she addressed the court. I couldn't have been more proud of him when he said he was going to be a Rankin County Sheriff deputy. And, excuse me, and, it seems like I'm still proud of him, she said. The remorseful Hunter was hard for this to be unbearable. Nothing would have told me that this was a racist, the mother said. At the point, there was audible laughter in the courtroom. As Terry Elward walked away from the stand, she looked her son in the eye, soft smiling, and nodded at him gently. After the hearing, the victims of their families and attorney as well as supporters spoke outside the courtroom. I picture my worst enemy. I couldn't do this to nobody. I couldn't stand to watch this being done to nobody. Anyone has to have compassion and has the power to step up and do something about it. Jenkins' older brother Eric Johard told CNN. Edward also, along with fellow Rankin County deputy, Bert Alpin, Chris Demon, Daniel Updick, and Jeffrey Middleton also will be the former Richard Police Deputy Joshua Hartford pled guilty to federal charges of conspiracy against right, deprivation of rights under the color of law, conspiracy, obstruction, justice, and obstruction of justice related to incident. This is unbelievable. Middleton will be sentenced on Tuesday afternoon. Dedmon and Upkedy will be sentenced Wednesday, and Hartford and McAlpin on Thursday. Federal prosecutors are seeking maximum sentence for the officers. Wow, this is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. It's to believe that 6 police officers would barge in on 2 black men and torture them, and put a gun in their mouth, sexually assault them. Unbelievable. Leave your comment, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you think this had some kind of racial profiling, if these guys are stark-born racist, or are they just crazy? Subscribe, like, and share, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rastaman channel. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for sticking through. I know it was a long article, but it's an unbelievable case. 6 former Mississippi cops sentenced for torturing 2 men that's black. Subscribe to the Rastaman channel. Build up the Rastaman panel.